Hey guys, welcome to Snowbreak Containment Zone, and we do have a surprise for this incoming patch. We do have two banner reruns. I was actually expecting just one, but it's good that they're giving us more reruns for those for those in the community wanting to get pre-released or before the banners that were released before. This is actually an opportunity for you to consider that as well. So let's go over the banners. We have Pulse Passion for Frisia, Tracing Origins, which is going to be for Mauxir Shadow Ka, and Silver Horizons here is going to be for Lyfe Infinite Sight. So the duration for these banners, the first one, which is Pulse of Passion, for Frisia, it's going to be on November 7th up to December 19th. So take note of the period because you might want to schedule your pulls and also save for some of these banners. Okay, next up is going to be Mauxir Shadowka with Tracing Origins with the same duration as Frisia for Mauxir Shadowka. So November 7 up to December 19 as well. So with this in mind, you're gonna have to decide whether you're gonna be going with Frisia or you're gonna going with Mauxir Shadowka. We're gonna be discussing all of your options later. The last one, which is going to be Silver Horizons, is for Lyfe Infinite Sight. This is starting on a later time, which is on November 28th up to. This is a shorter duration, by the way. November 28th up to December 19th. All three banners are ending on the same date. Two are starting the same, one with a different start date, which is lesser time for you to pull for Lyfe Infinite Sight. Okay, so let me, discuss this. I won't go through the whole patch. That will be for another video, but I want to get this to you guys because there's an important decision to be made here depending on what you're going to do, who you're going to be prioritizing. Number one, considering that Frisia is a new operative, and if you have both Lyfe and Lyfe Infinite Sight and Mauxir Shadowka, you might consider getting Frisia unless if you don't prefer Frisia at all, based on your personal reason, whether it be gameplay, whether it be the weapon, whether it be something aesthetic. It's really up to you. So if you need both, what I mean is if you need both Lyfe and you need Mauxir Shadowka, I'm gonna give you some points on what to at least consider, depending on your roster, of course, depending on what you have. Especially for those who are coming in, I'm sure that you have selective operatives, especially my free-to-play. I nearly went with Lyfe Infinite Sight because I thought she was the only rerun banner. But considering that Mauxir Shadowka is coming out, and also I still do have a chest. The weapon selector we got from the first anniversary, I can actually get Mauxir Shadowka's orange tier weapon from there. So I'm deciding to get Shadowka for this patch. So that's basically it. Probably a small percentage of my decision is going to be leaning towards Lyfe because for that free-to-play account, I need more support rather than DPS operatives. But again, Lyfe is so tempting to pull for, but that's beside the point. We're going to be going through the operatives here. So what they can do for you and how will they benefit you as well. So for Mauxir here, if you take a look at her skills, she is clearly a support operative. She's not so much with the DPS side, but you mainly consider her for her support skill. So this is Vein Squeezing Bind. So this is a bit of a long cooldown, 26 seconds. S energy cost is 30 as well. Mauxir makes Cabbage Shit Wrap continuously bind itself tightly around the target using bandages to tie the main target and up to 3 sub-targets together. So you can bind multiple targets using the support skill so that you could shoot them as well. So while bound, deals chaos damage to all targets every second. This damage is counted as damage dealt by Mauxir. So after the main target is defeated, Cabochette will disappear. So definitely you can cast that if you have the energy for that and you have finished cooldown. Next up is Cabochette transfers 110% damage. So there's a buff from what damage you'll be dealing. There's a plus 10%. It takes to the main target because it's 110%. Transfers 110% of the damage it takes to the main target while bound. Cabochette is counted as a part of the main target and not Mauxir's auxiliary unit. So that's clear. The damage transferred is not counted as a skill damage and is not affected by any bonuses or attribute buffs. Cabochette lasts for 10 seconds and its cooldown starts after it disappears. When Cabochette is alive, Mauxir can switch onto the field and pressing the skill button again will end the effect early. Cabochette cannot bind around invulnerable targets. If a bound target becomes invulnerable, it will break free from the bind. Take note that this ability for support is scaling. Okay, the damage per second scales on max HP. Okay, take note of that because of the bind. So with that said, let's go through her manifestations. I'm not going to discuss in neural skill, so it's very. These are this one. The second one is increasing max number of Cabochette's wrap connected to 5 sub targets. But we'll go through the manifestation because this is very important for her. It's what makes her really shine. So number one, M1 is one of the best M1s that I've ever seen, which is Ancient Ritual. Shots that hit Cabochette wrap receive an additional increase to crit rate. According to the weapon type, sniper rifle, shotgun, give increase of 100%. So take note of that. If you have a shotgun shooting at Cabochette, these are the buffs. Pistol gives a 50%. Assault rifle and submachine gun give a 25%, which is kind of lower naturally because they have more bullets. Okay, so the lesser the bullet, the higher the buff of crit rate, and the more bullets fired for a gun, the lesser crit rate increase for the gun. Okay, and next up, decreases attack of all targets connected to Cabochette wrap by 20%. And the last one, which is I think also nice, when equipped with a chaos weapon, Cabochette wrap's duration increases by 0.1 seconds for every 1,500 of Mauxir's max HP. This scales up max HP. So take note, if you want to build her, she's gonna be built through max HP, not through an increase of attack. Okay, so that is how she is built. More or less, depending upon you, if you have additional budget, you can pull multiple copies of Mauxir. At least get her to M3 as much as possible. So again, she's one of the best. She's actually tier S in terms of one of our best supports in the game. You will really want her in mostly your bosses, and that is it. While we are talking about Cabochette, we're going to be segueing to Lyfe Infinite Sight. So Mauxir is gonna be one of your best buffers in the game. So that's no question. But if you don't need a buffer, and if you do need a DPS unit, especially for ballistic, then Lyfe Infinite Sight is going to be your girl. It's gonna be a very hard choice for you if you need both a DPS and a buffer, a damage buffer, because both of them, technically both Cabochette, both Shadowka and Infinite Sight, work well together in one team. So that is why it's gonna be a hard decision unless if you prioritize either what you want, what you need, or what is pleasing to you. Okay, so with Lyfe Infinite Sight, very straightforward damage. She's going to be doing ballistic damage. you're gonna be focusing more on her standard skill and her ultimate skill. Unbound Frost Flash. So this is a cooldown of 8, energy cost of 10. So this is a quick standard skill. Life dashes quickly, dealing up to 5 instances of kinetic damage to each nearby target and marking them with instant insight marks. Target with multiple parts are marked with an additional 1 instant sight mark per part, up to 3 per target. Instant sight: each time life dodge shots hits a target with this mark, additionally fires an instant ray at each mark on the target, dealing kinetic damage. When a target has more than 1 mark, decrease the final damage of the additional insight rays to 30%. So passive: life moves and dodges faster. Each shot hit on a target gives her 3 dodge shot charges. So while if you have dodge shot charges, you can actually dodge. And sorry, you can shoot while dodging. So puts an extra 1 dodge shot charge if the target has an instant mark. Life can dodge to consume dodge shot and perform a dodge shot. During her anti-interruption ability increases and her final damage decreases by 50%, but she is not invulnerable. For each 1% of critical rate, dodge shot ballistic damage increases by 1%. For each 1% increase of rate of fire, dodge shot ballistic damage increases by 1%. So this skill scales of attack stats. Take note of that. So when equipped with a kinetic weapon, 3 dodge shot charge, and when a shot ricochets, of course. So after using life standard skill, immediately gains full dodge shot charge. So that was a mouthful, actually. The gist of it is she has tons of damage for her ballistic damage. One of the best, actually, in our ballistic damage department. So she's all about DPS, but she does it with her gun. For her ultimate ability, I'm not going through the details here. This one is a very long ultimate, which is tailor fit for mobs. So if you have a lot of mobs, she spins right through them and shoots them in a rapid succession, which hence deals a lot of damage for your opponent. So that is it for both. Before that, let's go through her manifestations. M1 is consuming dodge shot charge. To dodge no longer consumes stamina and increases final damage of dodge shot by 20%. So additional buff to her incredible damage already. After life performs a dodge shot, gains 20 dodge shot charge. This is nice because the 20 really makes your skill faster. You know, your skill cycle is going to be much faster, and it's going to be quicker to deal damage with this M2. And for your M3, I haven't finished this. So life deals 12% more ballistic damage to targets with at least 1 instant sight mark for each additional mark. This effect increases by an extra 3%. Again, cannot compare both Lyfe and Mauxir. Both of them have their merits. Both of them have their specializations. It's actually just up to you which are you going to be selecting. If you're going to be selecting either of them, if you're going to be going with Freesia, of course, it's a totally different story. But we'll do a preview of Freesia's skill once more details have arrived. But for these two, just in case if you're on the fence on if you're pulling for them or if you're pulling either of them or if you want both of them, those are the things that I discussed that can probably help you on leaning, towards what you need and what really will make the best possible contributor to your existing team. Especially if you just started, and especially if you're just needing a few, operatives on your teams. And also, guys, you might consider pulling copies of them if you really want to, because their manifestations are actually good. Especially for Lyfe, the first one is actually very good, and the second one is very good as well. For Mauxir, the first one is a must right off the bat. really. The other ones are additions. M3 is also a must because this increases the duration of the wrap. So 1 and 3 for Mauxir, and 1 and 2 for Lyfe Infinite Sight. So that is it. So hopefully you guys were advised by this video, and please subscribe if you think this video was very informative. Again, guys, comment in the comment section what do you think of the rerun banners. We have 2 right now. I'm not sure if this trend is going to continue, but again, it's also a good thing that we have more options now, especially for new players coming into the game. Thank you very much, guys, for staying this far. Take care, stay safe. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.